Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I just want to go ahead and make this a very quick unboxing video because I finally got my mystery tackle box this week and I'm very excited about what's in this box. Of course, those who are new to the channel who already know what mystery tackle box is, but it is a monthly subscription for anglers to basically get their gear up, try new things. But to me, I look at it as a way of getting my gear up. You know, not knowing what lures I'm going to get, getting different lures, trying different things, learning different techniques. That is what this is all about to me. Get you a mystery tackle box or any other subscription, but me personally, I like the mystery tackle box. You know, increase your arsenal, increase your mindset of what you're fishing for and everything. But let me go ahead and get into this box and just go over what's inside. And also, I just want to talk about different ways of fishing the different lures in here. Hopefully bring you some better insight on what you need to be using to make sure that you are successful on the water. Okay, so first thing that I do have in here, because I haven't had a box in a while, but I think it's very important that you do get your what's inside box. It tells you all your lures, retail price, and what you're getting. So for the amount of money that I spent, we're talking, I spent $26 and I'm clearly getting more than $26 worth of gear here. That's already deal number one. And so first off that we are going to talk about that's on this list is the Western Hypo Twist. Let me get that out. I always like when they come with a Western lure that's in box and everything, but Western just seems like they always have something different, and to me that's very kind of critical in bass fishing, something that's always going to be different, because with a lot of lures in the bass industry, a lot of them are all going to be the same, repetitive. You know, your soft plastics, your cranks, your hard baits, spinning baits, whatever it may be, jigs, they're all going to look repetitive, but some things are just always going to be a little bit different. So I want to actually get it out the box and go over a little bit with you, so that way we can get a better idea of what we're talking about. So like I said, this is the Western Hypo Twist. It's a top water lure. And actually, you know, that's to hold that out there, so you know you got your treble hooks on there like most top water baits. Now, what most people would compare this to off gate would be a whopper plopper, but I did get me a whopper plopper out and want to do the, I guess the only major comparison or difference between the two. So the Western Hypo Twist, it does have a soft paddle or boot tail on the back, but it's on a swivel. So you know you're on top water, you're doing your retrieve, it has that free swinging boot tail that is definitely a lot different than the whopper plopper. And like I said, I have a whopper plopper, you know, your River to Sea whopper plopper or the Berkeley chopper, whatever it is. You know, with them, you know, this is still soft, but it's not boot tail. It's kind of like propeller tail, and it's, you know, stuck on this wire right here, so it ain't going nowhere. So to me, the major difference is that design and how this is going to be very consistent in the sound that it makes. You know, hence the whopper plopper is very consistent. But with the Western Hypo Twist, I don't think that sound's going to be consistent. I think it's one of those splish splash everywhere, maybe even plop a little bit, but it's going to be a very inconsistent noise. You know, something the bass that are not familiar with, like with a whopper plopper or any other kind of top water, they may become familiar with it, but it'll draw their attention just because it's something different. Alright, next we have, well, before I even move on, I definitely want to talk about what I would throw this on before I do move to the next lure. Of course, top water, you want to use mono or braid because that line floats. I would start with 15 to 20 pound mono, and then 15 to maybe even 30 pound braid for this. Of course, using a, I would say, medium heavy action rod, at least 7 foot, so you can at least cast out, cover water. But those would be the two things. You use your a regular gear ratio reel, me 7.0, 7.1, maybe 6.5 or 6.3. You want to slow down your retrieve, give them time to really get up on it. So that's what I would recommend for the Western Hypo Twist. Now I want to move on to the next lure in this box, which is the Yozuri 3DR Vibe. Let's see. Yozuri, well-known company. Everybody knows about Yozuri lures. If I can get this box open, which I probably can't today. I guess I'm going to be spending most of my time, well, because I ain't going to be able to get this open, but everybody knows what a lipless crankbait looks like. It's a crankbait that's lipless. I like this profile. It's a little bit smaller, 3/8, no, ½ ounce, no, 2 to 3/8 inches, and it's a ½ ounce lipless crank. Of course, no, since we're on this, and this is the main reason why this is in this box, because it is September and we're going to start transitioning to the fall season soon. It's time for those bass to start feeding. You know, the main forage will be shad, of course, so they can, you know, fatten up for the winter. So all your shad imitate lures like this lipless crank, or even the hypno twist, anything that's mimicking that swim bait in there for them to feed on. That'd be the best thing. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to unbox it right now because it's in there that I don't feel like don't be staple. With a lipless crank, medium action rod. Me personally, I like the medium action rod. You know, moderate action, 12-pound fluorocarbon line, so that way it can sink. You know, with a lipless, you can control the depth. Well, yeah, you can control the depth to your desire. Unlike, you know, a regular lip crankbait, which I will have here in a moment, so I can show you that. You know, maybe I should, you know, unbox it if we can get there, just so y'all can really see that. But that's the beneficial part of a lipless crank, because it will sink all the way to the bottom, and you can control the depth of where you want to fish it at. So even if they're, you know, near the bottom, you can get them there. If they're suspended, if they're hiding in grass, you can fish it above the grass and get them to come out of there, you know, bite to your lure. So that's the power of the lipless crank, because you can just fish it at any depth. Here we go. It looks good too. This one's the golden shiner color. Yeah, let me get that out. Of course, I've got little rattles. It's a little bit smaller in size than what I normally would expect for a ½ ounce lipless crank, but that's all right. I think it's a good deal. You know, it's compact. The other beneficial part of this, and I'm also talking about this with the other crankbait that I do have in here. Lipless cranks are good during the fall because, once again, it's starting to cool off. The water temperature is going to go down, and a key thing to understand is that when the water temperature changes, just think of it as us being outside. We don't move as fast, or, you know, we get a little lazy and lethargic if we are outside, so we don't, you know, disperse too much energy. So with that slender body that this lure has, it's going to have a nice tight wobble. So just think about how the fish would be seeing what they are seeing normally on the water. You know, the bait fish are going to start swimming in a little tighter pattern, just so, you know, they're not, you know, dispersing too much water or wasting too much energy. So that's the other key part about lipless cranks, because the majority of lipless cranks are going to come in that flat, slender body. And so that's another key thing about fall fishing, or even going into winter fishing, when, like I said, when the water temperature changes. And then once again, this is what I am going to talk about again with the next lure, which is the Guggen Squads or Guggen Baits Flat Banger. This is their square bill, but it's a flat-sided square bill. You really gotta love how they are packages in here. I don't have my knife with me. Can I get it from the other side? They're secured. This is gonna become part of the main tackle box anyway, so it don't even matter what I do to this box. Let's get it out of here. So first things first, this is a regular crankbait, but a square bill in particular. Kind of, you know, square it out a little bit than most regular crankbaits. It would be a rounder bill. Now the great part about this one, it does dive 3 to 6 feet, of course depending on the line size, which I still would recommend a medium action rod. You may even go to medium heavy. The length, you know, from 7 foot to 7'4" on either one of those, you know, because you want to, you know, get it out there, cover water. But this, you want to deflect off of cover, you know, rocks. I like lay downs, even staying in timber, wherever they may be at. But once again, because of that slender body, it's going to present that tight wobble. Because, you know, in the summertime when it was warmer, you know, the wider crankbait bodies, they'd be a little bit rounder, so it's a wider wobble, causing more commotion, which looks normal because it's a little warm, so you're doing a little more activity. Now, but just with this, you know, it's a flat-sided square bill crankbait. Now, like I said, this comes at a controlled depth, so, you know, once again, 3 to 6 feet, which is good for shallow water because that's where they're going to be headed to feed up. They're going to come out of the deep water from the summer to start feeding up shallow, so this is perfect for this season as well. And so, making sure that y'all do understand the difference between a crankbait, because it's lipped, and then a lipless that does not have that plastic end. So, once again, you control the depth. Depth is predetermined. But they are both great in what they do. So I'm just move on to the next lure and what we got in here. Even though I said that a lot of the main forage would be shad, there's one thing that you can still just kind of never get away from, and that would just be a good old jig. And what I have right now is a Dobbins Extreme football jig. So I would say why football jig would be very important in the fall season. Once again, just with the water temperatures dropping, and where a football jig really excels is on rock bottoms where the structure is rocky, or where fish are going to be near rocks. One, because rocks can hold heat, so once again, when that water temperature goes down and then the sun's going to take a little while to warm the water up, but the rocks are going to retain a lot of that heat a lot better than other cover will in the water. That's when you will want to throw a football head jig of any sort. Now, of course, we just have this one, but you know, with the rocks, there's going to come crayfish, another major forage for bass fishing. So, you know, you're throwing your favorite crawl trailer on this jig, you go through those rocks, you cause less hang-ups. Not saying that it won't happen, but that's what the football head design is for. And I'm just go ahead and get it out of there, just so you can see what I am talking about. I kind of like this. There we go. Let's see what we got. Dobbins. I like Dobbins lures. They're pretty good lures. I had a Dobbins spinnerbait from a few years ago. So, of course, I said football, so oval style head. Once again, that should kind of avoid those cracks and crevices of rock bottoms. You know, if you throw any other kind of lure with a different shaped head, it will probably get snagged up a little more efficiently than a football head will. But that's it. I believe it's a ½ ounce on what it says, and it says it has a 5-aught hook on there, Gamakatsu hook, which is pretty good. And another good part is how they got that bait keeper on there. So when you get your soft plastic on there, it's going to keep it on there a little bit more secure. But you know, pretty much a good looking football jig. Like I said, you're going to really want to throw this if you're around some rock structure or rock cover on the bottom where they may be high, because even though, like I said, it's going to start cooling off, those rocks will retain heat, and this is where you want to get your bite at. Alright, we got next on this list here. Now, I'm gonna kind of skip over this first because, of course, the other thing that came in here, which the best thing about Mystery Tackle Box, they'll at least pair you up with something to go along with the lure in here. So when they gave me some Eagle Claw laser sharp hooks, you know, some worm hooks, because this is going to go great with the next lure in here. And as I was talking about chain and lures in the bass industry, the fishing industry period, this lure, the Hoax Fish Scam Shad, I'm gonna let y'all see that package first. This is something that's different, you know, it's something that you don't normally ever see on the market. It's a different kind of soft plastic. And then the cool part about it is Mystery Tackle Box decided to put in some more detailed information on there. I'm gonna get that card out. So I don't know when they really decided to put in these more detailed information cards, but it just kind of tells you a little bit more about the Scam Shad and, you know, how to fish it and everything's on the back. But I'm gonna just talk about just from what I know, looking at it and everything, you know, if I had time, I'd read the card to you. I don't really want to be honest with you. If you got this, some of y'all probably got this in y'all box already. You already looked at it, but like I said, to me, it's a different kind of soft plastic. I haven't seen anything like it. It's, from what I can tell, well, one, they got a lot of plastic right here, so you know, with soft plastic, whether you're Texas rigging the Carolina, how it's hooked, mostly it's going to be Texas rig, of course. You know, the head of the bait gets tore up, then you really can't use it. But just from what I got into it, this is, to me, is the bottom part, and it kind of reminds me of a fluke style bait. You know, any of that fish is zoom flukes or any other flukes in particular. So that right there, so I feel like you can fish like a fluke, and then it has little tentacles on the back versus, you know, the fork tail or even the paddle tail. So I believe it will still dart around, and what makes it still different to me, that is, once again, flat. Like, it still gives me the vibe of a fluke style, just different without that fork tail. But I guess just depending, I guess it could almost be like a creature style bait. If you're asking me, I feel like you could probably flip it somewhere and treat it like if it was a creature style. So it looks like it could be a little versatile in how you fishing it. Me personally, I really think either fishing it like a fluke or even on a Carolina rig is where it's really going to excel. I wouldn't think that it would make a great trailer, to be perfectly honest with you, just because how it is designed. And then if it was a trailer, if you had like on a chatterbait, I don't think you can skip it too well, because just, you know, how the body is flattened out in so many ways. But Carolina rig or just regular fluke fishing this, I think is going to be your best bet. You know, it's a soft plastic. You know, you fish it, hopefully they bite, and they don't. It is what it is. But I think just because it is just a very different kind of soft plastic, I don't, you know, most bass probably ain't seen nothing like this before. Or they seen the regular fluke, but not a fluke with, I guess, wings on the side of it, if you're asking me. But that's everything I got in my mystery tackle box. Just want to thank everybody again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the unboxing. If I did break anything down, you know, if I missed any information, or leave a comment in the video, let me know if I should go over that again, or if you have any questions, of course, you know, drop a comment. If you really are liking the videos, of course, you know, hit that like button. And if you're enjoying the content that I am putting out, definitely hit that subscribe button, and also make sure you are hitting that bell notification so you'll know when the next video is coming up. Until then, until we get on some water, man, keep it tight and keep reeling.